Hey guys, George Diamondyard Sportscards coming at you with the second of my videos for the year of 2022, a recap. This is my pickup video. These are cards I picked up beginning of the year until the end of the year in chronological order. You're going to see a lot of cards here that at the end that you haven't seen before. I've kind of been picking things off here and there through November and December and got some really neat cards that I think are really neat. But anyway, it's going to span vintage. I don't know, you might see a card from the 70s here. I don't know if there's any cards from the 80s here, but it's going to be, I believe, from 1920 up until the late 70s. So mostly baseball and maybe a little bit of basketball. And so I wanted to just make a few points about the year. It's been a wonderful year. I've been excited about so many things in the hobby, so many people I've interacted with. But I wanted to give 4 points before I show the cards off that I learned this year. And some things are things that I've learned throughout my collecting life. But anyway, 2 things that have to work in combination and balance. Be patient. Be patient to find the card that you want. Don't just go and buy the card that you're going to be unhappy with. You're going to put on your wall and you're going to say, man, I just don't like that big print dot on the dude's face. I don't like, the fact that it's miscut or whatever. I mean, you have to get what you can get, but also be patient. And then you have to balance that, if you've been looking for a card for a while, with if it comes up, jump on it. So you have to take the opportunities you have to pick up the cards that you're looking for, and you can't hesitate. So those are things that have to, as a collector, you have to be in balance on. Being patient to find the right one, but when you do find the right card you're looking for, you jump on it. And you'll see, I'll talk about that in my video here about some cards I've been looking for. I had one of my biggest pickups of my entire collecting life this year, and it was because I'd been waiting, and then I found the right one, and I jumped on it. Number 3, you have friends in the community. In the card community here, you have friends. So don't be shy. Don't be shy. Reach out to people in the community if you have questions, or there's a wealth of knowledge in the community here of different areas of card collecting, memorabilia collecting. There are people in the community that know about all kinds of things, and don't be shy to reach out to them. Like example, late in the year, I picked up a card and I reached out to Dave Blue Jacket 66, and through text, and he just called me back, and he just started talking, and it was so helpful and friendly. And you think people in the community, you might be shy to reach out to them. Please reach out to them. We're all here to help each other out and hopefully build each other's collections up. And we love looking at baseball cards, and we love collecting them. Last thing, be open. Be open to new experiences. Go into shows. You can meet new people. You can figure out new ways to collect. So just be open to things. Don't block yourself off from things. I've seen guys do videos this year where they show their face for the first time. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, you should. It's been a great experience. You've heard guys like Lou Rock talk about it. It's like my wife was telling me for a year and a half, start a channel. I'm like, no. And eventually I did, and here we are. So again, thank you for your subscribership. So I'd say, again, if it comes up, jump on it, but be patient to find the right one. Be open to new experiences, and you have friends in the card community. So here's a recap of 2022 pickups. So guys, what a year it's been. I have tried to pick up cards that go along with my collection, but maybe reached out a little bit in different cards. So beginning of the year here, I picked up, I'm a little bit hesitant at the beginning of the year, unless a super card comes up, to pick up a card. So I kind of go a little bit mild at the beginning of the year here. But I did pick up this really nice 1974 Topps All-Star second baseman, Rod Carew, Joe Morgan, 2 of the all-time greats, and this was in an 8.5. 74 All-Star cards have some fantastic duos on them, and they're just some of the greatest players. You have Aaron phasing out, you have Carew and Morgan in their prime, and you have just fantastic ball players. So that was that. Went to the Gem and Mineral Show in Tucson with my son Ryan. I'm walking by, there's all these vendors just selling all kinds of tchotchkes and all kinds of gem and mineral crap, and this guy had some cards, so I'm like, that Elvin Hayes is gorgeous. And he didn't want much for it, and so I picked up this beautiful Elvin Hayes, the big E. 80s, okay, I do have an 80s card here. It's Ricky. Picked up this nice 82 Topps Ricky. It was in a 10. It was nice. I figured, hey, it's Ricky, man. Might as well jump on it. Hostess cards. Online, I found these Hostess cards, these panels. They were great. I got Ted Simmons, Al Oliver, and George Brett. These are 1976 Hostess. Picked these up. They're uncut. Brett's second year. Just a super cool George Brett card. Along the same lines, from the same seller, I picked these two up. These are two Henry Aarons, 1976. Same guys on them, Steve Braun and Buddy Bell. These are uncut as well. These are just so cool. Hank Aaron on a Hostess panel. He had one card in 75 and 76. Shout out to Baseball Collector Mike. His boy Buddy Bell is on here as well. Next pickup, going forward, we were getting into the March time, I believe, February, March. A couple Reggies. This beautiful 81 Donruss Reggie, and I paired that with another 81 Donruss Reggie. So, as you can see here, there's that 52 Mantle pose that Reggie is trying to do. You know, Reggie just being Reggie. Got those guys. At shows, was working shows a lot of the year, had people come up, want to sell some things. This was something somebody came up and wanted to sell me and didn't want much for. I think it's a numbered to, I don't know, a five magic autograph. Didn't have a magic autograph. Same kid had this George St. Pierre striking signatures 2020. So I said, why not? The one of the possible goats of MMA. Went to my local card shop, walked in, saw this card, and said, oh my God, this card looks way better than a 4.5. I had a 67 Maze, but I was thinking, man, this card is just spectacular for a 4.5. I think the edges are about, or the corners are about all that holds it back. And whoever was grading it must have been having a bad day. Anyway, so this nice 67 Willie. Picked up this beautiful Tom Seaver, 76 Tom Seaver in a 9, and was looking for one. These are kind of blurry. They, you know, 76 has so many problems with the print dots, the backgrounds, and the blurriness. So this was a good find, I felt like. Was working a show, and these two guys came, one of the guys to my left, a longtime dealer, said, hey, we have this card. I know you've been looking for it. Had my Jackie Robinson jersey on. And this was the biggest pickup of the year for me. And it was taking the chance, the opportunity. These guys said, hey, we got a rookie Jackie Robinson. Do you want to see it? I immediately said yes. We worked a deal where they came to my office. We did a cash and trade. And I was able to pick up this beautiful SGC Jackie Robinson rookie card. And the centering on this thing, it's got little creases there, but the centering on this thing is fantastic. The color, the registration, really good, and just super, super happy. This was a grail card of mine and has been for a long, long time. And so I was elated to pick this card up. The next card, I was at a show and a young man came up and he had two cards. He says, you want these? I said, well, 1976 George Brett, nice and colorful, nice orange, no print marks on it, in a 7. Sure, I'll take that. And then he had this beautiful Tom Seaver, nice salmon back. I didn't have a 69 Seaver, and the registration was just disgusting on this card. It's amazing. I think the centering is what holds it back from an 8. Anyway, so I picked this one up off the young man. Another dealer at these shows over the course of the spring and the summer had this beautiful card just sitting there. It was the end of the show. He hadn't sold it. I didn't have a 74 Julius. I said, hey, what do you want for it? And we worked a deal. Again, it was like $35. So just love this card. You get the Iceman right there. Autographs. Shout out to Don. Don's Field of Dreams cards. Stan Musial, 1958. Love the 58 All-Star cards. First All-Star issue for Topps. No All-Star team could be complete without Stan the Man Musial. Anyway, so this is an All-Star, shows what he's done against the other teams, as everybody knows, and it was a beautiful signature on this beautiful card, nice and blue, and the signature's blue, the background's nice and blue, and I was just excited to pick this up. Continuing on, talking about waiting for the right card, like the Jackie rookie here. You know, I was waiting for the right one to come up, and it happened to be an SGC slab. It doesn't have to be PSA for me. And so I was waiting for the right one of this 58 Hank, and it's the derivation. It's the yellow name, and I had been bugging Mike Baseball Collector. He has one. Hey, you got to sell me yours. But I didn't have this one. and it was the right one. It was really well centered and nice and yellow, no print marks. So really happy to add that Hank to the collection. Before the National, we were going into the summer. I was trying to keep things conservative because I was trying to save my dough. But then this beautiful 71 Topps Super came up of the great one, and so I had to pick it up. Had a few pickups before the National, but I was trying to hold off because I was going to be looking for a 38 Gaudy DiMaggio or a Swell Jackie Robinson or whatever came up. This was the pickup right before the National I made. To me, Steve Carlton, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. Shout out to the Philly guys, but also his cards. 74 it's a fantastic card to me. Looks like the 82 Donruss, and this is an O-Pee-Chee, and there's his beautiful signature, Gem Mint 10. And I really like the Steve Carlton 74. I like his 1980 card, and I really like his 82 Donruss. Here's what the O-Pee-Chee looks like in 74 with a nice yellow back. But this was one I couldn't pass up before the National. So at the National, I bought one card, and it was this one. It was just jumped out at me as I was walking by. Saw this. I only found one Swell play ball or Swell Jackie Robinson at the National, and it wasn't going to happen with what the seller wanted for it. I didn't find the right Gaudy DiMaggio, but I did find this beauty, 4.5, and I can't tell you, it's got a baby wrinkle here and maybe something right there, but this is a gorgeous Red Heart Mickey Mantle. I mean, it is just spot on. So the dealer was very reasonable. We negotiated, and he was just, this was a fantastic card to add for me. Got back from the National. I was looking for this card at the National, but everybody brought their best stuff. They weren't bringing Eddie Waitkiss 49 Bowmans, but the movie The Natural, loosely based on Eddie Waitkiss. I've talked about it. Picker Jim Ass has talked about it. Eddie Waitkiss, Cubs and Phillies first baseman, and the movie The Natural. He was he was shot by a woman who had kind of stalked him, and then came back. So, Eddie Waitkiss. After the National, I started to look for this card, and I saw that Topps had come out with these relics. You're going to see some relics coming up here. Certified Tier 1 Legends Relic 2022, and this is a Josh Gibson. I believe there's a dual relic, and there's a triple relic, but this one's numbered to 99. Topps owns one of the two Josh Gibson bats. Is this a bat card? It's just, like I talk about, it's as close as I'm going to get, so that's why I picked it up. Old Josh Gibson there. Put him right here. This was the card, another big pickup this year I was looking for at the National, and I finally found it online, and the guy worked with me. It's a 1948 Swell Jackie Robinson, and it was a 2.5. The color, the centering is not exactly as I would like, but there are so few of these that are graded. The registration on his face is fantastic, though, because so often his face is obscured. It's kind of like the 75 Tom Seaver, where it just kind of looks like he's a shadow, but in this case, he is not. Great card. It outlines few players started the season or more tense dramatic conditions than Jackie Robinson, the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, and it goes through where he, I guess, runs around the bases from first base, he steals, and he ends up getting home to break a 2-2 tie against the Cubs. So anyway, really excited to add this card to the collection. Again, checking it off because it's just been a long road. So then at the Arizona State card show in the fall, I found this card, and Rick Vintage Oddball Cards was very helpful in showing me or giving me some advice about what I should do. It was Walter Johnson, and it kind of sent me on a Walter Johnson spree. But this was a beautiful card, and I traded an 88 Fleer Jordan for it. It's a Walter Johnson pitcher of Speedball fame, York Caramels, and it was a beautiful SGC 5. Type 1, there's two types. Anyway, 1927 York Caramels in SGC 5. Made card swap. This is a super rare card here. This is one of the highest graded copies of this card. I'll put him over there. Little big train. So the big train kept rolling, and then so while I was on eBay, I was looking at more big train cards, and this one popped up. SGC 1923 515 Walter Johnson hand cut, and you're going to see some odd cards coming up here that I've picked up at the end of the year. but I had to jump on this Walter Johnson. I like these strip cards a lot, personally. I think they really have a lot of character to them, frankly. Anyway, so pick that one up. This was just one that came up and was really not much money. Pete Rose, but it was a really nice 66. Like, I mean, the centering on this thing was ridiculous. And it was just a really nice Rose. Again, shocked it got a 5. Seems like it should be higher. So this card, I was watching, and then I watched Dave Blue Jacket 66 did a video about this card, and he had just picked one up in an auction. And it is a 1920 Universal Toy Ty Cobb. And there's only 7 of these graded by SGC. PSA does not grade this card. And it's like almost like a 35 Gaudy where they were on a panel of 4 players. And so this beautiful Ty Cobb, I mean, this is just like stunning. It's just a stunning image. And the blue there is actually Walter Johnson is the one who's next to Cobb on this. And Universal Toy had boxes, like fun boxes for kids in the 1920, and they would put all kinds of stuff in there. And what would be there would be a card like this with 4 guys on it. And Dave did a video on it if you'd like to talk or like to see more about it. But this Universal Toy Ty Cobb has really it's a fantastic picture of him. It's so well, it's such a nice copy. So I picked this up with Dave's advice and help. And so I was really happy to do that. The next card is one of the nicest strip cards I have ever seen. And I've been looking for this card for a long time. And it was, it's got a major issue right there, right? So, but the front is not like this at all. It is a 1920 Ty Cobb. And it is a beautiful strip card. W516. This looks like Ty Cobb. It's not a generic card. It doesn't look like him. And he's in the field, which is excellent. And the color on this thing is fantastic. Now, it's authentic, I believe, because it's a little bit short on one of the sides, which I think is this side, the top. But just a fantastic card. And when I saw this online, I said, my gosh, I looked through all the strip cards of Cobb, all the 516s, and this is the nicest one I could find in all the sales on VCP, and just said, man, I've got to get on this card. So this was a big pickup toward the end of the year, and I was really happy to add it to the collection. There's some great cards here left, 3 right here. This is, you're going to end the year here with some Satchel, Paige, Relics, and Jackie Robinson. So this is a beautiful Satchel Paige Colossal Relic. It's his authentic game worn. I guess he's on that's what I think when he was pitching coach for Atlanta. St. Louis Browns, Satchel Paige. This is a 3 of 3 relic card. Enclosed is personally worn piece of material by Satchel Paige. It's 3 of 3. And I couldn't believe this thing went for like $100, which I'll take all day long. Satchmo. Another Satchmo, Old Time Black Stars, Laughlin, 1974, called by Dizzy Dean and Joe DiMaggio the best they ever saw. Paige dominated Negro baseball in the 30s and 40s. This is just a fantastic card. I was looking at a Josh Gibson as well, but I got this 6 Old Time Black Stars, really nice Satch. Back, one of my regret cards is back like 3 years ago, there was somebody who had a raw one online. It was autographed by Satchel Paige right there. And I did not pick it up. I bid on it, but I just didn't go strong enough. And it's a big regret. But anyway, I picked up this Old Time Black Stars of Satchel. And last card of the year. Thank you for staying with me, guys. Just got this one in the mail. 2004 Playoff Prime Cuts Jackie Robinson. The relic is 42 right there. It's a mint 9. And these are so hard to get in 9s, 10s. Anyway, this is numbered to 50. Enclosed is a piece of jacket. Authentic jacket, personally worn by Jackie Robinson, official Major League game. And so this was another big ad. And I'm really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support of the channel. I hope you have a wonderful year. And keep collecting.